What's going on? Dr. Gonzo Boogie here, or Sean, whichever you might know me as better. And I'm here with my good friend Mike Papineau.
That's me.
And we are here to do the commentary on our movie Rabbit Hole, which we are both co-creators.
Both co-creators, along with our friend Joe Lance, who is not with us today
for this commentary track. But this was a group effort. All three of us acted in this movie. We all had our hands in the story, even though I did kind of like the final drafts on the story for the script when we finally were doing the filming. But all three of us came up with the idea of this. Me and Joel actually came up with the idea first, and then all three of us elaborated on it as the production of it grew.
Yeah, that's right. Like, they started off with it, and Sean called me up, and they said they had a role for me, and then I just took it up from there and elaborated on my role there, and then I came up with a few things. We all threw in a little bit of something. If it was directing, acting, writing, we were all involved. Some more than others in different areas, but we were all involved. That's what we're trying to get through to you.
And me and Mike had worked on movies in high school on a lot of short films together. Yep. So we had worked together on a lot of films before this, but this was really the one that we took seriously.
Yeah, we actually sat down and thought about this. The other ones, yeah, we might have sat down and thought about it, but we didn't get into any grave detail and plan it out and had no type of professionalism compared to this. We actually took our time and thought about it. A lot of professionalism in this one, I would have to say, compared to our early days of film.
Yeah, because for being such a short film, we spent a lot of time making this, which was one of the main things I wanted to get into on this commentary track. The amount of work we put into on this little film. We started filming in the summer, which this is some of the first footage we shot, which this was probably, I don't want to say later in the summer, but mid-summer, when it was still really, really nice out, hot as hell, like 80, 90 degree days.
I think if I can remember correctly, it was early September when we really started filming anything. And I'm not sure about this shot here. I think this was a reshot of this entire scene.
Yeah, me and Joel had shot this scene earlier in the summer when we first came up with the idea for the movie, but we were using one of my older digital cameras, which was a piece of crap, and around this time Joel got a new camera, so we
scrapped all the shots that we had filmed prior, and then we reshot everything with the fresh new camera. So this is one of the scenes that was reshot.
And there's only a few other scenes too, which maybe we'll mention as we get. But
yeah, we'll point them out when we get to them.
And that was just a real quick beginning scene with the killer walking from the woods to the basement of the house, and then this is really when the movie gets going. We wanted to have kind of like that classic horror slasher movie intro, which usually has an opening kill.
Yeah, like maybe Friday the 13th, maybe not in its grave detail as Friday the 13th beginning prior to the before the intro, but it leaves a lot of mystery and like a lot of questions, which was probably something that you were planning on doing, right? Leaving a lot of questions for the audience.
Because even though we didn't have an opening kill, mainly because we didn't have a big cast, it was just me, Mike, and Joel so we didn't have an opening kill, but I still wanted the opening slasher scene.
It was a scene setter, and it raised questions, of course, and that's how a movie should begin. It's like, oh, you get a little something, and you should, have a little bit of anticipation of what is going on, and what is there to come for.
In this scene right here, the credit, title credit scene with the driving sequence and everything, this was shots that we had to redo a few times because first we had shot these with my old camera, so we reshot them for that reason. But I just remember this was a shot that we did a few times where either you would be driving or I would be driving, and one of us would be in the passenger seat with the camera, just filming out the window. So it's not the steadiest here because we're in a regular car, but it did the trick.
I kind of like it. It's very reminiscent of movies, I think, more so of the 70s, where there's always just that those shots of just the natural world around the setting of the film. It sets up the scene a little bit, I guess. this. Like,
Yeah, I thought it was a good way to bring the characters in to
right,
the
yeah,
story.
it's almost
have
like
them
they're
drive
descending
into
the woods and descending into something dark. Maybe not everybody interprets it that way, but that's how I've always interpreted it. And I like these shots here. They're very reminiscent of George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, or that's how I see that.
I was thinking Night of the Living Dead. There's my busted up car, but
that's a real damage there.
yeah, and
no prop.
And I kind of almost happened naturally, but once we had this in the story, I kind of liked how we had a driving scene at the beginning of the movie, because it reminded me of Night of the Living Dead when they drive to the cemetery.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
And like, plus it's just really cool too, especially the different angles. That's the thing about this movie too. We have like very unusual, if you will, angles in it. And I just think that's what gives it style. Like even right here. Even right there too. I don't know. It's something you don't see every day.
All three of us are, I think, creative, and we all kind of want to be directors. So I almost feel like with every shot we did, whoever was filming, tried their best to give some sort of artistic style to it.
Yeah, just an interesting angle.
Even if it was just improvised or just natural, like that's where we plopped the camera down. We did we did multiple takes and a lot of thought into almost every shot that was put into this.
Yep, we always wanted to make the shot beautiful. Like even here, you see, there's a lot to be seen here. You see the door, you see the front of the house, you see the lawn there, and I think that's what all we were trying to do, is capture as much as we can in one little shot. I don't know.
And this is when Mike comes in, which
this scene here actually took. This was one of the scenes that we filmed with the older camera, and then the second time around, for some reason, we just couldn't naturally. It just wasn't seem natural. So this take here is probably like, I don't know. What do you think, Sean? Like 20, 30, maybe
shot
more?
Here, like this shot with me holding, like the shot before with Mike talking, we probably shot each of these shots like 10 times over, just because the first time we did it quickly and naturally, and when we went back to try to reshoot it, it was hard to recapture that magic, I guess, of the first shot.
Just how natural and fluent it was, and then it just because it seemed so scripted after reading those lines over and over again.
Yeah,
it was hard to just say it just fluently, Even like this scene, I think this scene was rewritten a couple times. So it was kind of like a tongue stumbler for me. I was always stumbling.
And it was hard not to laugh, too, because Mike's character was so over the top in this as Father D. Pleasance that whenever Mike was on set doing his thing, it was really hard to not laugh, basically.
Right. I guess I just have that kind of charm to me. It just, I don't know. And with the character's name, too, if you don't mind if I put that in there, Father D. Pleasance. It was my little homage to my, not my favorite actor, but I would have to safely say my second favorite actor, Donald Pleasance, D. Pleasance. And plus, at least in John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, he was a priest, so I implemented a little bit of that into the character as well.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we tried to put as many tributes and references to classic horror movies that we love in this movie as we could.
Right, especially this, like, the late 70s or whatever, 70s and 80s slasher films, like Shot Like This, Seeing the Killer's Hand.
And this is Mike, actually, with the camera.
Yep, this is me.
We all played the killer at certain points, kind of as fake shemps. Me and Mike played the killer when we needed to. But our friend Joel was actually the main person who acted as the killer in this movie.
It's his character, nonetheless. And if you're interested about this house, this is actually Joel's house. This is actually his grandmother's house, but this is where he actually lived. So we didn't have to rent anything. And it's a really old house. It has a lot of odd things about it, maybe due to how old it is. So it really, it was a perfect setting for it.
Yeah, we didn't have to do a lot of work to make any of these rooms look creepy or interesting, because they had the age and the look to them already. You know?
And we didn't have to put any props, like what that lamp there is how it naturally is into this day.
Like, I really liked how this basement looks. That's why I'm kind of glad it was kind of the main room of the movie, because there's so much, junk and so much interesting stuff piled all around it that, I think it just makes for an interesting looking scene.
Yeah, very gawky, and just something about, like, having tools and maybe some of clutter, if you will, just makes it very, very interesting. Like, oh, what's that over there? And I guess that's what worked out for this scene.
The hell was that?
And too, I just feel like I should mention we chose to do this movie in black and white early on because I thought it would give it that style of a classic horror movie,
Right.
and I almost feel like that really helped give this movie the look we were going for,
Yeah,
that classic
yeah.
horror look. Like without that, if we had done it in color,
Yeah,
I feel like it would have looked a little cheesier, a little
Yeah.
bit more unprofessional
and,
almost.
And the black and white too really
Not
sharpened.
that this looks real professional,
No,
but you know what I mean.
but like, and plus being black and white really sharpens the darks, and it makes the whites or brights, if you will, not too bright. And I felt like if it was in color, the brights would be awfully bright, like
Yeah,
even to an extent,
exactly.
maybe down there in the corner.
But I feel like it looks good. Like even this, I feel like this shot right here looks interesting, and in
Right.
color it wouldn't look as interesting.
Yeah,
You know, with the
yeah.
path leading down to the bird feeder and all that. It's just I felt like it helped with giving the movie some sort of style.
Right.
And me and Joel have made music videos for our band before using black and white, and it was just almost what we were comfortable with doing, which was kind of, we just almost did it naturally in black and white. It wasn't even really a decision. It was just kind of, that was the way that this movie was going to be, really.
Yeah. That's how it was. Just natural. It was just going to work.
And this
In
was,
which it did. I feel like if it was in color too,
And
I don't
these-
know.
these-
it would lose its flair.
right.
Completely.
And these were shots that we had to reshoot, and I actually like to reshoot shots on these a lot better. And this was just a pile of junk that was sitting in the woods next
Yeah.
to Joel's house,
Yeah.
and we took advantage of it, you know.
Didn't have to make anything. And also too, Sean is you filmed this whole scene and you played the killer at this point too.
Yeah, well, Joel.
Up until
Yeah.
the actual axe chopping scene. Like right now, this is Sean creeping up behind Joel, and when he turns around, cut. Then
yeah,
you
that's
see
Joel,
Joel.
in the costume, yeah. And then
Which
there's
that
me
took-
again,
And then there's you again.
hearing Mike scream, which I always thought that was funny.
And that took like a half a dozen freaking takes too. I didn't know what to do for that.
And then this is when I discover Joel's body, which, you know, it's like, I feel like this scene, it's like, did Mike's character drag
Right,
the
yeah,
body
we were
from the
trying
woods,
to
or-
write that you want the audience to question things, and like you kind of want to trick them out as a director and a writer. You kind of want to like trick them out a little bit if you can.
Because
And this was the scene that
this
was gonna
point,
do that.
yeah, we're trying to lead the audience to believe that the priest was the killer of the
Right.
movie, which we just thought it would just make it the first half of the movie more interesting that way.
Right. It's like in like horror movies, you always like to like, oh, you think it's that guy, no, it's this guy. But sometimes the writer and the director just point right at one guy. It's like like a lot of things too, like the gloves. The first scene you see me, I'm wearing the killer's gloves. That in every scene the killer's in, he's wearing those gloves. So we threw a lot of monkey wrenches into that.
But
to get my character.
I really like your acting in this scene too. It's almost one of my favorite acted scenes in the movie because I really felt like you put your all into it.
Yeah, this is the scene too that I made sure I didn't want anything to sound scripted. I didn't write any of this out. Listen.
And then Joel at the window too.
Right.
I just think this is an interesting shot right
Yeah.
here with you at the door and Joel at the window. And then this leads, I feel like, to almost the whole next act of the movie. This chase scene where this song playing right now
Right.
is a song that is the only song that me and Joel made for the movie. Me and Joel have our band, the Microwave Radiation Victims, and originally we were going to do the full soundtrack to this movie, but we ended up not having the right equipment to record music at this time. We don't really have a good way to do that. So I did a re-edit of one of our older songs for this movie. But I would have liked to use more of our original music in the movie because I do feel like this song helped give this like more of a chaotic scene. But I almost feel like the classic horror stock music I used helped with the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was off, like really, really fitting for like the beginning scene. Something about it, like even the credits in the beginning with the whole shot of us driving and just looking out the window. I don't know. It really
worked.
It fit like a puzzle. It was like meant to be.
And if anybody's curious at it, that's stock horror movie music from Dawn of the Dead. George A. Romero used stock music from a library for that whole movie, and I happened to get a soundtrack of that, and it just happened to be on my computer when I was editing the movie, so it was just the easiest thing for me to use at the time.
Right. And plus, we do so much reminiscing to older films, it was just going to work out.
It was like a tribute to Dawn of the Dead at
Right.
the same time of just being convenient.
So yeah, why wouldn't it work at that point?
And I really like this chase scene too. I think this is a fun scene. This leading up to the basement freakout scene. I really like this part of the movie.
Yeah.
It was really fun to edit together, which I didn't really mention, but I did all the editing on this movie, which was probably the thing that I spent the most time doing throughout the making of this movie was editing it. I really wanted to have a tight edit to it and just give it a bit more of a professional look to it, you know?
Right. Really touched up. And if it didn't have, because like this movie, not that it's like an overwhelmingly fast pace, but it's a fast pace.
Yeah, it goes by quick. Yeah,
it like catches up with itself. It's like a slow start, but even in like that credit scene again, it's fast. And that I think that's what we wanted. Instead of a slow 23-minute movie, I don't think it would be as appealing to anyone.
And this scene with all the fast-moving camera was inspired off like the Evil Dead 2 scenes, and just scenes from Evil Dead in general, where he's in the cabin and the cabin is possessed by the demon. Like I kind of wanted to give it that feeling that you're in a place that is going nuts, you know?
Right.
Everything is going crazy.
Yeah, and something about having like fast shots, it just has that effectiveness of chaos, like something being chaotic or horrendous.
And this is like the final showdown now between me and the killer. I'm the last survivor now, and this is me trying to escape, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The killer's at the door, and I'm trying to sneak out the front door now.
And who does he stumble upon? Oddity Pleasance, there he is. Now that's me. And by the way, all that fake blood you see there on my mouth was chocolate syrup, and I have to say, for one thing, I hate chocolate syrup, so it wasn't a very comfortable scene for me to do. But this is not one take, but the first stab scene you see with me dripping Hershey chocolate syrup out was one take. So what you saw there was one take.
And it works good in black and white as blood.
Yeah, it has the right consistency. It's thick, but not too thick.
Me and Joel had used it in one of our short music video films before as blood, and so it just seemed like a perfect thing to use.
It's perfect. Like I said, it has the right consistency.
There's the
it's not too thick. It's
busted up car again. I couldn't avoid that. And there's Joel popping out of the back there.
Oh, this was like everything you see from here on.
That stab there. Million of takes right there.
Yeah, we were running short on time this day. Remember, I got out of work. I don't know, what was it, 3:30 or something?
It was getting dark out.
It was November. It was November 17th, and we thought this was going to be our last chance. So a lot of this was rushed, but we wanted to do it right. Like this scene took many shots.
Yeah, these were the effect scenes at the end of the movie, which originally we didn't have any big effect scenes at the end of the movie, even though these aren't big effect scenes, but for us they were. There was a lot. Just the stab scenes, I built a dummy and it took me a day or a couple nights to build that dummy, and like right here when I come down and chop the head off, that was the dummy, which you can
Joel there.
Yes, we didn't want to murder Joel.
Nobody got hurt there in the making of this, I don't think.
Yeah, surprisingly not, with all the knives we're running around with and everything. And then this kick scene at the end, I almost felt was kind of like a tribute to Bad Taste or Dead Alive.
Yeah,
kind of that sloppy gore effect.
Trauma-esque without the pervertness of it.
Yeah, right. I would have liked to throw more like real, like over-the-top gore scenes like that into this, but we wanted to keep.
You only have three players, and everybody's got to do multiple roles one way or another. It's
just that one scene was tough enough. With all that stabbing and everything, it was tough enough just doing that ending there.
Yep, this is you.
Yep.
Out of breath. And this shot here, this was just some like random shot that if you watch back that Joel scene.
Yeah, that was just
it's not in the rest of the film.
Yeah, basically.
That's just him being Joel. And I like how you plug that in there, because I don't know, it creates a lot of emotion. Like when I watch it, I'm like, wow, he's dead.
Yeah, I felt like maybe
feel like your character gives a shit. You know what
maybe
I mean?
we had like forgotten, you know, about, because it was like so quick that his character was dead and all
Yeah.
of that. I wanted some sort of even just remembrance of the character in general.
Yeah, and it just shows that your character gives a shit, and that your character really cared about him, and he was your friend, which.
Right.
Up until that
'Cause
point,
I
it
do
wasn't
feel
like
like-
that relationship wasn't very.
I do feel like we could have been a little stronger on the development as me and Joel's characters as being better friends. We had planned to do longer dialogue scenes at the beginning, but me and Joel were having a tough time doing them.
And we had a lot of scheduling problems too.
Yeah,
like
just
forever.
not a lot
We
of
wouldn't meet
time.
up for weeks on end, and then all of a sudden we try to crank out like 2 scenes, and it was tough.
Yeah, a lot of this, almost every shot in this movie was filmed on like different days or different weeks.
Yeah, no, everything you see now from up to this point was like on the last day.
Yeah, this was the last shot we did for film, and I can't remember if there was anything I had to do, any real quick like shots we had to do after this, but I think this might have been the last shot we filmed for this, and this took multiple takes, and this was a long shot, and this was
Days were getting shorter, really getting short at this point. This might have been late November, early December.
And I hope to get some sort of like Steadicam device that I wanted to strap to myself for this scene.
Right.
But we ended up not having the time to build anything like that, so this is just me holding the camera in my hand during this part, just like you would a camcorder. And Mike here,
and this is me,
plays the mother of Joel's character.
Yep, the mother or the grandmother of Joel's character, the mother of Peter.
Yeah.
Or our slasher. And we've done this multiple times, and the rough part about doing that for me was holding my breath. Oh, well, forget about that.
But that was a tough scene because you were in that costume the whole
I had to
time.
stay
It was
still because
stuffy.
you wanted to give the feeling that my character's long been dead.
Yeah, and each take we did of that, Mike had to sit in the costume and wait the whole walk from outside to upstairs.
So all I did was I knew you were coming. I held my breath and I stared at like a corner in the it was like near like an outlet, between the outlet and the window. I just kept staring.
But that shot came out really good. That was actually one of my favorite shots in the movie, and
probably one of the more pricey.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I had visualized early on. I wanted that to be a walking scene, and from outside to inside, and we had a couple different ideas with that, where we wanted to go through the window. Originally, it was a little more elaborate.
Yeah.
But we ended up cutting it down to that, and I think it came out good enough.
Yeah, I think it worked out perfect because the doors, if you were to watch back, the continuity is odd. Like both those doors were open the last time Sean ran out of them. So it was perfect. It kind of is like the sprinkle on the top, and the cherry is like having Peter in the back seat strangling Sean.
That was the second twist at the end.
Yeah, you always need that. You always need that one final scare, kind of like it's. Reminds me of Friday the 13th, of course.
But it looks like we ran out of footage to talk to, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, though, and,
have a nice day.
See you guys later.
Take it easy.